Welcome students, chapter 9, working with array and string. Two different topics, one is about array and second is string. Let us see what is an array first. An array is a variable, it's like a variable like other normal variable, but it has some special categories and special features. So an array is a variable which is representing a collection of homogeneous type of elements. So here the word homogeneous, that is similar, is very important. That array is used to represent multiple values simultaneously, but the only thing is those values should be of similar type, same type. If it is integer, then all the values should be integer. If it is character, then all the values of that collection should be character. So it's a representation of collection of homogeneous type of elements. Arrays are useful to represent vector, matrix and other multidimensional data. So if you want to represent some multidimensional data, like where the data is spread over number of rows and columns, array is very useful. Vector is one-dimensional and matrix is two-dimensional data. It is also possible to have three-dimensional, four-dimensional array in Java, but rarely, very rarely used. Mostly people use one-dimensional array or two-dimensional array. So vector is one-dimensional data structure that can be used to store list of values or items like characters, numbers, but that is in one dimension. That is only one row with multiple values. Whereas matrix is two-dimensional data structure, which is like a table of rows and columns where values are spread in horizontal as well as in vertical direction like Microsoft Excel, where cells are spread in rows and columns. Array are useful when some operations are to be performed on various elements of the similar type. So when same type of operation you want to perform on multiple elements which are of similar type, then array is the very useful tool. Using array, we can create an array loop. Within that loop, we write array, and then we can perform that operation on different elements of the similar type of values, and that can be done very fast. All the elements of an array are stored in memory using contiguous storage space. Here again, this contiguous storage space word is very important to understand. What it says is that from whichever location the array gets stored in your memory, from that location it requires continuous space. So it is not like all the elements, suppose there are 10 elements in your array, then those 10 elements are not stored at random places in your memory. Rather, it finds a random place, but from there it stores all the 10 values in contiguous storage space. Each element of an array is identified by an index position. So every element of array is identified by its index position, which is associated with variable which creates array or the array variable. So this is a simple introduction of array. Once again, remember array is used to store homogeneous or similar type of values under one name. Normally, you know that in variable, suppose we create a variable integer a, and within that variable a we can store only one value. But if I want to store 10 values, then either I have to create 10 variables like a1, a2, a3 up to a10, or there is another method where I can create array with the name a with 10 elements, so that I can store 10 values under one name. And that is what array. Let us see in detail. In Java, array is an object used to manage list of items. Remember, array is an object. That means Java already has array class, and we can create the object of that array class. So creating an array, or that is one-dimensional array, is a two-step process. One, you declare an array, and second, you create that array object. Declaring array is similar to declaring a variable. We write integer a, similarly we write integer marks. The only difference what it makes from normal variable and array variable is this square brackets. The square bracket indicates that marks is not a normal variable, rather it's an array variable. Now creating an array, again it is same as normal variable, normal object, where we say A is equal to, if you remember, room R1 and R1 is equal to new room. In chapter 7, if you remember, room R1, and then we were writing R1 is equal to new room. Similarly here integer marks, and marks is equal to new integer of 5. Here this 5 indicates that we are creating array with 5 elements. So there will be 5 boxes or 5 continuous memory location where we can store some integer values. But all those 5 boxes will be remembered by the single name, and that is marks. The above 2 steps can be combined to create an array as we can do in normal variable object creating object. If you remember again, when we written integer R2 and R2 is equal to new integer, new room, room R2 is equal to new room, and we can combine both the things like room R2 is equal to new room. Similarly here also we can combine integer marks is equal to new integer 5, or you can write integer square bracket marks is equal to new integer square bracket. But here there is one thing to be written here, is that is 5 written to be written here, because the size we are mentioning is 5. So integer marks is equal to new integer 5, or we write integer square bracket marks is equal to new integer. So only difference is the placement of this square bracket. Remember, this second method is mostly not used. Programmers are using the first method where we write the name of array followed by square bracket, not square bracket followed by name of array. So we are used to see array like this with name of array followed by square bracket. So this means we are creating a marks array in memory with 5 boxes of integer type, and all those 5 boxes will be empty. So an array object can be created in 2 ways, using new operator as you see here, or second is by directly initializing the content of array. So first method is using new operator and specifying the size, that is 5. Second is by directly initializing the content of the array. So in Java, an array is an object that is used to manage list of items, list of similar items. And creating an array that is one-dimensional array is a 2-step process where we declare an array object and then we create array object. It is same as creating other object. If you remember chapter 7, we used to write room R1. We created room class, and then to create R1 object, we write room R1 and then we say R1 is equal to new room. Similarly for array, because array also is an object, because there is array class already defined in Java and we are using that class to create array object. So we write integer marks, and marks is equal to new integer. Only difference between normal variable or normal object and array object is that array object is followed by square bracket. Or we normal variable, if we create, we write integer a semicolon. But because this is an array object, we write integer marks and then square bracket. One square bracket means it is one-dimensional array. If we put 2 square brackets, set of square brackets, it is 2-dimensional array. We can even combine these 2 statements together and we can create array object in one statement using integer marks is equal to new integer of size 5, or we write integer square bracket first and then marks is equal to new integer of 5. That is the size of the array. Only difference is the placement of these square brackets. This is opening and closing square bracket. This square bracket here we have written before array name, and here it is written after array name. But no programmer, mostly programmer don't use this second method. Every programmer and every computer program reader, they are used to read array object as name of array followed by square bracket and not square bracket followed by array object. But it is possible to write like this also. Similarly, we can even create array object by directly giving the values. For example, integer marks array is equal to within curly bracket 5 values. Or we write again here the same thing, square bracket is taken first, rest of the things are same. So what we can conclude from this is that an array object can be created in two different ways. One, using new operator like this and specifying the size of the array. And second is directly initializing the content of array by specifying values, initial values. So these are the two ways we can create array, specifying the size or specifying the initial values. Now let us discuss something about 1D array. Array with single dimension is known as 1D array. For example, vector, which can be seen as a collection of one or more scalar variables. So for example, if I say I want to write percentage of 10 students, then that's an collection of one-dimensional array. These 10 values are called collection of one-dimensional array. Instead of declaring individual variables like marks 1, marks 2, marks 3, marks 4, marks 5 and so on, we can declare an array marks with size 5 and then access all these individual variables elements as marks of 0, marks of 1, marks of 2, marks of 3 and marks of 4. Now what you observe here, that the index number, what you see here in square bracket, that is index number, they always start with 0. So if you have an array with size 5, index number will be from 0 to 4. It would be from 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So that is how it is written. Or we can refer to all these individual elements like this. So that means if you want to refer to the first value of array marks, you should write marks of 0. And if you want to refer to the last element of marks array, which is with size 5, then you should write marks of 4. To declare 1D array, we use a pair of square brackets after array name or before array name, and the syntax to declare array is as follow. We have already seen example in the previous slide that how array is created, and here it is giving you the syntax that you write the data type, that is integer, then you write array name, that is marks here, then you put square bracket, or you write data type square bracket and array name. Next, to store the marks obtained by a student in 5 tests of mathematics subject, we can use an array of 5 integer elements as marks of 5. So array object named marks with size of 5 elements can be created as follow. First we write integer marks square bracket, that is called declaring array object. Double slash indicates it's a comment line. So integer marks and open close square bracket means we are just declaring that we want to create an array with the name marks, and then we write marks is equal to new integer 5. That is actually object is created. So object creating array object in the memory where it will occupy 5 contiguous memory location for integer values, and that will be values will be remembered as the name marks, and individual 5 values will be referred by marks of 0, marks of 1 and so on. We can combine above 2 steps and create array using a single statement as we have seen, like integer marks is equal to new integer 5, or we write integer square bracket first marks and new integer 5. Here marks is the name of array. It refers to memory location where 5 integer values are stored. Again you can see this pictorially when you are creating array by specifying values. So to refer an element of an array, we use subscript number or index number in square bracket after array variable name. So as we've seen here, we created an array by specifying values and not by specifying size. That is this second method, second method. By specifying values, we have created array object integer marks is equal to 90, 60, 70, 65 and 80. So that is marks array. If you want to refer to the first value, you should write marks of 0, which is 90, and its array index is 0. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one is 80 is marks of 4. So what you remember is index specifies the position of an element in an array and it begins with 0. So 0 is first position and so on. 1D and 2D array. One can also specify the initial values of data elements while declaring an array. We've already seen that also. But size of dimension and initial values of the array cannot be specified together. That means I cannot write integer marks of 5 here in bracket 5 or 3 is equal to this, because either I should specify values or I should specify the size. Array can be one-dimensional or it can be multi-dimensional like 2D, 3D and so on. The following statement creates a 2D array with 2 rows and 5 columns. And how it is created? We write integer marks with 2 set of square brackets. Each set specifies dimension. So 2 set of square brackets means it's a 2-dimensional array. Is equal to new integer 2, 5. 2 and 5 in separate square bracket, no comma, where first square bracket is number of rows and second square bracket is number of columns. So 2 columns, 2 rows, and each rows will have 5 columns, so we can store total 10 values. Same, if you want to create the same array by directly specifying values, you can write like this also. Integer marks of 2 square brackets set is equal to main curly bracket which begins from here and ends here, that is for array, and this first line is first array, first row, and this is second row. First row there are 5 columns, second row there are 5 columns, so total 10 values. So there are 2 ways you can create one-dimensional or 2-dimensional array. One is either by specifying its size, that is like this, 2 and 5, or by specifying direct values. Remember that array index starts from 0, so for integer marks is equal to 79, 45, 86, the marks of 0 is 79, marks of 1 is 45, and marks of 2 is 86. Different methods to create an array object. Now the example on page 188, figure 9.3, that is this example, shows that different methods to create an array object, and let us see those methods. Okay, that example is given in textbook. Those 5 lines which are to be observed, I have written here. You can refer to the textbook page number 188, figure 9.3. But you can understand from here that particular example shows you 5 different methods for creating array object. And then we will see that actually there are 2 meaningful methods. Let us see the first one, integer marks of 1 square bracket, and then we say marks 1 is equal to new integer of size 5. As you know, we can combine these 2 and we can write like this, as in second method, integer marks of 2 is equal to new integer 5. Third method, we just change the placement of square bracket and we write integer square bracket marks 3 is equal to new integer 5. Fourth method, we don't specify the size, rather we write the values, initial values. So we say integer marks of 4 is equal to 45, 33, 47, 41 and 39. And fifth method, again same, only the placement of square bracket is changed. So as such, if you see second method and fourth method, these 2 are the proper method, because this you are just breaking the creating of array object into 2 steps, which we can combine here and specify the size. And fourth method is by specifying values. Third and fifth method just shows you the same method just by changing the placement of square bracket. So for you, understand that second method and fourth method are the 2 methods to create array object. In first method, declaration and instantiation are written separately, whereas in second method they are combined. Third and fifth methods are same as second and fourth methods respectively, except the placing of square brackets. In short, there are only two methods to create an array object. First is by specifying size, or that is its dimension, and second is by specifying its initial values within curly bracket. But again remember, we cannot combine both together. That means I cannot write this fourth example like integer marks 4 and then within this square bracket I write 5. No, like this. I cannot write the size here. If I am specifying initial value, when writing size, it should not be written rather, because the size is automatically taken by the number of values we specify. In Java, we cannot specify both the size of the dimension and initial values of the array elements simultaneously. That is what I discussed. Every element of an array is an individual variable which can be referred by using its index or subscript number. So every element of array, suppose your array is of size 15, then every element, all the 15 elements of this array are individual variable and they can be referred by their index or subscript number. So if you have an array with the name age and with size 15, then the index number will be from age of 0 to age of 14. So the index number of any array starts with 0. So if we create an array with size n, then the index number will range from 0 to n minus 1. To change the value of an element, we can use assignment statement like marks of 2 is equal to 98. Then that means when you say marks of 2 is equal to 98, means third value of marks array will become 98. Third value. Index number 2, that means value number 3, because it begins from 0. As you can see here, it begins with 0. So when you say marks of 2 is equal to 98, this 70 will be replaced by 98, which is third value, but the index number is 2. So remember that. This program just computes average of 10 numbers using one-dimensional array. Let us see how it is working. We create one class with the name array avg, and then we write our public method main method. In that we create one array with the name numbers. Double numbers, double is its data type. It can be integer, it can be double, because we are going to store floating point value, so we have written double. We could have also written float here, but then for all these values we need to put f everywhere, 10.5f, 20.6f and like that. So we have taken, our textbook has taken double. Numbers square bracket, that is numbers is an array and is equal to 10 initial values. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10 initial values. And we have taken another variable of type byte, and the variable name is CTR, that is for counter. And still another two variable of type double, where some initial value 0 and avg. Now what we do is system.out.println, we say list of number is. So it will, on screen it will print list of number is, and because it is print ln, so it will have a line break after is. And then we start a loop, for loop, where we say counter CTR, counter variable, counter is equal to 0, counter less than 10, counter plus plus. Now as you understand, because we have the array of size 10 and we want to range from 0 to 9, because array element begins with 0. That is why we started counter with 0 and we are going up till less than 10. And every time we are increasing it by 1, CTR plus plus. What we are doing every time is we are printing something, system.out.println numbers of counter. Now first the value of counter is 0, so numbers 0. Numbers of 0, that is first value 10.5, so 10.5 is printed. Then we upgrade the variable sum. sum is equal to sum plus numbers of counter, that is 0. So sum is initially 0, as you know here. So 0 plus 10.5. So sum will become 10.5. This closing curly bracket will send control back to for loop. Now counter will increase by 1. So counter will become 1. It was 0, now it will become 1. Again it comes inside. Numbers of 1 it will print. So numbers of 1, that is second value, 20.6. It will add into sum. So 10.5 is already there in sum plus 20.6. So it will keep on adding all these numbers rather 10 times. Once it becomes 9, counter plus plus will make it 10. It will check here, 10 is less than 10. No, condition is false. So control will come out of this for loop and here. There it will calculate average. Average is equal to sum divided by 10. Sum will be having total of all these 10 numbers. So it will be sum divided by 10. And then we are printing system.out.println \n, that is new line. We are pressing enter, that means before printing, and then what we are printing is average of above numbers is blank space before double inverted comma and then plus avg. So value of avg, whatever calculation is here. So avg, that is 21.59. So that is how we are calculating average of 10 numbers which are stored in an array. Now remember this program, if we have no concept of array in programming, then how you would have stored these 10 values? Then you have to take 10 variables like number 1 is equal to 10.5, double number 2 is equal to 20.6, double number 3 is equal to 30.8, and so on. 10 times you need to create variables, 10 variables, which is very time consuming. And then you cannot use the loop also for that. But because we have facility of creating array where only one variable can hold many values, so it becomes very easy for us to use those values using loops. This is again very important to observe, that is exit code 0. When your program is compiled successfully, is error free, there is no error, and it is compiled successfully, you get exit code 0. Exit code 0 means your program does not contain any syntax error. So you get exit code 0. Now next comes the Javadood Utility.Arrays class. To perform various operations on array, we can use different static methods provided by Java using Javadood Utility.Arrays class. Means there are many static methods defined by developer of Java, and they are stored or they are kept under arrays class, which is arrays class is which is in utility and then which is in Java package. So within Java package there is utility package, and in that utility package there is arrays class, and that arrays class contains many static methods. The arrays class is available in Java development kit, and all the methods of this class are declared as static. That means they are remaining in the class. When you create arrays object, they don't get copied into the object. So we can use them directly without creating any instance of it. So you can use those static method of arrays class without creating any instance of it. So you don't need to create any object of arrays class in order to use those static method. So you can directly use it because they are kept public and static. In Java, array is treated as an object of this arrays class. So we can use methods of arrays class with any array type of data. So with array type of data, all the methods which are defined within arrays class can be used directly. So let us see the two most popular methods which are given in textbook of array class, and they are sort and fill method. The sort method, the first one, as the word says, it is very simple. As such sort method, there is no need to explain because you understand the meaning of sort. So it is very easy to understand that what sort method would be doing. But there are few things you need to be explained. We can use sort method to sort entire or partial array. So you have a numeric array, you stored some number in that array, and now you want to sort that array. For example, this array, if you want to sort so that the biggest value comes first and then next, and the last would be the smallest value. If you want to sort like this, you can use sort method of java.util.arrays class. When we use only array as an argument, it sorts the entire array. We will see example also. So it says that if you use only one argument, and that is the name of the array, it will sort the entire array. But when we invoke sort method, invoke means when we use. So when we use a sort method using 3 arguments, that is array name, start and last. So from where to start and from where to end, it will sort partial array from element at index start to element at index last minus 1. That is very important to understand. So we will see this with an example, that why it is last minus 1. For example, method called java.util.arrays.sort into bracket list. Suppose there is an array with the name list, then it will sort the entire array list. For example, method called java.util.arrays.sort into bracket list, 1, 5. Now this will sort only partial array. This will sort the element of array list from list 1 to list 5 minus 1. So this is indicating the start index number, and this indicates the last minus 1 index number. So 5 you are not considering in the sorting. That is 4. So list 1 to list 5 minus 1. So if there are 10 elements in the list array, then it will sort only the elements from 2nd to 5th. 2nd element, 3rd element, 4th element and 5th element. So how? Because array index number is 1 to 4. 1 is the 2nd element. 1 is the 2nd because array begins with 0. So 1 means 2nd value of the array, and 5 minus 1, 4 means 5th value of an array. So it will sort only 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. These 4 values will be sorted. Rest of the 6 values will remain as it is in the array. So let us see with an example. If I have a list array of type double with all these values 6.4, 5.2, 7.8, 9.8 and so on. And now if I say sort method can be used to sort this entire array or part of an array. So when we use this with one argument, example java.util.arrays.sort and into bracket list, we will give the following. So it will sort entire array. So as you can see, that biggest value is last, that is 9.8, and smallest is at the first 5.2. But when we use this with 3 arguments, it will sort partial array. With 1 argument, it will sort entire array. This is called argument. What you write in the bracket of the method is called argument. So here there is only 1 argument, here there are 3 arguments. So if you write the argument as java.util.arrays.sort list, 3, 9, you will see this as the output here, like this. So that is how it will sort the partial array. See, this first 3 values, that is 6.4, 5.2 and 7.8 from the original list array, they are as it is. Even the last value 5.9 is also as it is. In between these 6 values, that is from 3 to 9 minus 1, that is 3 to 8, and 3 to 8 is 4th value, 5th value, 6th value, 7th value, 8th value. So that 4th value, 5th value, 6th value, 7th value, 8th value and 9th value. When it is 3 to 8, because it is last minus 1. Compare here, come back to this slide and just make sure when you say 1, 5, it is 1 to 5 minus 1. Similarly 3, 9, it is 3 to 9 minus 1, that is 8. But when you say 3, it is actually 4th value. That is 4th value here. And when you say 8 here, that means it is 9th value. So from 4th value to 9th value, it will sort. Rest 4 values, that is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 10th value will remain as it is. So note that sort list, 3, 9 sorts element of array list from list 3 to list 9 minus 1, that is from 4th value to 9th value of the array. Same is with fill method, only the purpose of the method is different. We can use fill method to fill entire or partial array. When we use array name and a value as an argument, it fills the entire array. So array name and a value. Now here there are two things. See, sort it was when we use only array as an argument, but here it is when we use array name and a value as an argument, it fills the entire array. And when we invoke or when we use fill method with 4 arguments, that is array name, start, last and value, it fills partial array from element at index start to element at index last minus 1, as we discussed in previous method, that is sort method. For example, method called Javadood into bracket list, 10 will fill the entire array list with value 10. So list array જેટલો પણ મોટો હશે, એમાં 10 એલિમેન્ટ હશે, 15 એલિમેન્ટ હશે, 50 એલિમેન્ટ હશે, all those values will become 10. So suppose this is your list array, then all this value will become 10 because it fills the entire array with value 10. But if you say method called java.utility.arrays.fill with list, 1, 5, 99. Now this will fill the elements of array list from list 1 to list 5 minus 1 with value 99. So if there are 10 elements in the list array, then it will fill only the elements from 2nd to 5th with value 99, because 1 means second value and 4, 5 minus 1, 4 means 5th value. So 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th. These 4 values will be filled with 99. Let us see one example. Suppose this is our list array double type and these are the values. Fill method can be used to fill, as you know, to fill entire or part of an array. So when we use fill method with 2 arguments, it fills entire array with specified value. For example, if you write java.utility.arrays.fill into bracket list, 8, it will fill the entire array with value 8 and the output would be, or the array will become like this: 8.0, 8.0, 8.0, all the 10 values as 8.0. Why 8.0? Because it is of type double. But when it is used with 4 arguments, it fills partial array. So for example, java.utility.arrays.fill into bracket list, 2, 6, 9 will give this. 2 is third value. 2 means third value. List is the name of the array, that is this array. We want to fill this array with from 2 to 6 with value 9. So 2 is third value, so this third value. First and second will remain as it is: 6.4, 5.2, 6.4, 5.2. 2 is third, then 6 means 6 minus 1. As we have seen here, 6 minus 1, last minus 1. So 6 minus 1, 5, and 5 means 6th value. So 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th value becomes 9. Rest of the values remains as it is: 7.0, 8.0, 8.5 and 5.9. And first 2 values also 6.4, 5.2. So fill list, 2, 6, 9 fills array list from list 2 to list 6 minus 1, that is from 3rd value to 6th value with 9. So I hope you understood sort method and fill method, and there are 2 different variations: how to sort partial array and how to sort entire array, and how many arguments are required. That question is being asked in board exam quite often, that to sort entire array, how many arguments are required? So only one argument. and to sort partial array, 3 arguments. Similarly, fill method is used to fill an array with certain value. You may fill entire array or you may fill partial array. To fill entire array with certain value, it requires 2 arguments, name of the array and the values. And to fill partial array, it requires 4 arguments, name of array, start index, last minus 1 index, and then value. So that is fill method and sort method. You can see this example which is given in the textbook. You can refer here. As you can see, the name of the class is arrays class sort fill, and there is public main method. There is a array list of type table with this 10 values, and there is one variable integer index index. System.out.println initial element, it will print initial this 10 elements so that you can compare. So display list, then javadood.util.arrays.sort into bracket list, 3, 9. So now it will sort only this element, that is 3, that is 4th value, and 9 minus 1, 8, that is 9th value. So 4 to 9 value will be sorted from 6.4 to 9.8. Last value is as it is, and first 3 values are as it is. It sorts partial array from list 3 to list 8. And 3 means 4th value and 8 means 9th value. So you can see this, the list, then java.utility.arrays.sort list. It will sort the entire array, the whole array. And as you can see, this whole array is sorted in descending order. Then display list. So again it displays the list. Okay, before that, display list, it displays this list. Now starts the fill method. Java.utility.arrays.fill list, 7. So entire list is filled with value 7.0. So that is what display list. And then we say fill list, 2, 6, 5. So 2 means 3rd value. So 3rd value is 5. 6 means 6 minus 1, that is 5, and 5 means 6th value. So that is up to this. So 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th value is 5.0. Rest are as it is, 7.0. So that is how it has shown this thing. This is what a display method, which old display method we have written here. Whenever we are using this display method, it is coming here to print the entire array. So how it is printing the entire array is same with the loop which starts with 0, goes up to the array.length. This is something very interesting for you to see. See, this program works with any size of array. You don't need to change here anything. In previous first example, if you remember this example, we said here counter less than 10 because we were sure that there are 10 values. Here also there are 10 values, but this program is more interesting so that if you increase the size of this array by writing more values, you don't need to make any changes here because you just say array.length, that is the size of the array. So if its size is 5, it will be 5 here, value 5 will be here. If there are 11 values, it would be 11 here. So you don't need to change here the value. And then rest things are same, just printing the array element with a tab. This \t is tab. So you can see after every value there is a tab space given. So that is how display method we are calling. Once, twice, 3, thrice, 4 and 5. 5 times we are calling this display method from here. So there are 5 lines output, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, so that is what sort method and fill method and how it is used to sort partial array, to fill partial array, and to sort entire array, and to fill entire array. Two-dimensional arrays are used to store tabular data in the form of rows and columns. When you want to store something in form of rows and columns, the best use of two-dimensional array can be applied over there. You create a two-dimensional array where there are number of rows and each row is divided into number of columns. So to store 5 different students' marks in 3 different tests, we may use a tabular arrangement of marks in 5 rows and 3 columns as shown here. 5 rows for specifying student's name, and then each row will have 3 columns for their different 3 test marks. So that is a 5 by 3 matrix. 2-dimensional array can be declared using array name and followed by 2 pair of square brackets. So as you know, the number of square brackets pair indicates the dimension of the array. If there is only 1 pair of square bracket, it is 1-dimensional array. If there are 2 pair of square brackets, it is 2-dimensional array, where first is row and second is column. Java does not support multi-dimensional array directly, but rather what we can do in Java is we create 1-dimensional array with each row having different number of elements. So it's an array of array. You can say in Java, 2-dimensional array is an array of array, and there is no limit how many dimensions you can create. So it will create a 1-dimensional array of 5 elements, and then each element is again another 1-dimensional array object of 3 integers. So that is this 5 by 3. And as you can see here, it becomes very easy to access all these values when they are stored in tabular form. As we know that array begins with 0, so row number and column number is 0, 0 here. Then it would be 0, 1, 0, 2, then 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, and so on. So like here the last would be 4, 2. This would be marks of 4, 2. 4 would be row. That 4 row means it is 5th row because it begins with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And 2 column that again begins with 0. So 0, 1, 2. So 4 by 2. So actually it is 4 by 2 is the index number. Total elements would be 5 by 3. So in Java, 2-dimensional array is considered as an array of 1D array. So rows of 2D array can have variable number of columns. So not necessarily that 2D array can be exactly of perfect size in both rows and columns. It can be like this as shown here in the textbook example, that the array names, the name of the array is names. It is a 2-dimensional array, and then there are first row contains 4 characters, second row contains 1 character, third row contains 3 characters, fourth row contains 5 characters, and fifth row contains 6 characters. So this is possible in Java to create a 2-dimensional array with variable length of columns in each row. So that is how we can create. Again observe here 2-dimensional array, this first curly bracket, opening curly bracket, and this last opening curly bracket, that is for array, and then individual set of curly brackets inside. All these are each and every separate rows of the array. So these are 5 rows, 1 row, second row, third row, fourth row and fifth row. And as you can see, first row is having 4 characters, second row is having only 1, and so on. Length property. The length property of an array is used to get the number of elements in 1D array. For 2D array, length property returns only the number of rows. So length doesn't mean it will return the full size, the total how many values we can store in that array. Remember, this is very important to remember, that length returns only the size of first dimension. You might have 1-dimensional array, 2-dimensional array, or 3-dimensional array, or any number of dimension. When it is used with any array of such kind, length property used with any of such array, it will always return the size of first dimension. So if you use length with names array, this names array, it will return 5, that is 5. So it says here, the example shows how a 2D array can be declared. And now if we use length property with names, that is names is the name of the array, it will return the length of its first dimension, and that is 5. 5 rows are there, third, fourth and fifth. So that is how it returns, or it creates a value of length property. Remember, length is a property with array. I think we already used length property in previous one program. Let us go there and check. Yes, here. You see this program here, it says integer I is equal to 0, I less than array dot length. So here you say I is equal to 0 and I is less than array dot length. Because here you are creating one array, double type of array with display method. So wherever this display method is called, it will come here and it will run this for length of array less than length. So best part of this program is, if you change this list array from 10 to 15 values, you don't need to make any changes here. It will be running for 15 times. If you reduce the values from 10 values to only 5 values, again you don't need to make any changes here. It will run for 5 times, because here we are not mentioning any fixed value, constant value, rather we say array dot length. So when you say array dot length, it automatically takes the length of the existing array. Yes, coming back to this length property now, and next is now points which you need to remember about array, because now array topic gets over at this point. So let us quickly remember the important points. The very first point is array is a collection of homogeneous type of data. As you know, if you want to store 10 students' name, 10 students' total marks and 10 students' percentage, then you cannot do this with a 30 size array. One array. You cannot store these values in single array. You need to create 3 different arrays, because array you can store any number of values, no matter 10, 30, 50, 60, 80, 100, but they all should be of same type, homogeneous type. Second point, array element can be accessed using its index number. That now you know very well. Index number is its index which starts from 0, and these index numbers are written within the pair of square bracket which is followed by name of the array. Index value always starts with 0, so first element of an array is having index number 0. Multidimensional arrays can have variable size of all the different dimensions. So because a multidimensional array is an array of single dimensional array, so it is possible to have each row with different size. Length attribute or length property, you can call it property, you can call it attribute. As you know, we discussed these attributes and property term in chapter 6. So both are same. Is used to determine the size of the first dimension of the array. Array is treated as an object of Javadood Utility.Arrays class. Here A is capital because arrays is the name of the class and class name begins with capital letter. Declaring an array without initialization does not create any array object. Array object is only created when we initialize that array with certain values. So that is what you need to remember about array. Array topic gets over here, and now we move over to next topic, and that is string. String is nothing but a sequence of characters. You might be wondering why string topic is taken with array. It's because string is nothing but an array. It's an array of characters. Because string is nothing but group of characters, array of characters. So 1D array of characters can be considered as a string. Java supports 2 types of string classes, and they are string class and string buffer class. In our syllabus, we don't have anything about string buffer class. We will be discussing only string class. In Java, characters are stored using 2 bytes. Again, remember chapter 7 where we discussed data types, and if you remember, there was a table with all the details of 8 primitive data types. In that there was one data type, and that was character. And if you remember, Java character data type requires 2 bytes of memory because it stores character using Unicode character sequence. So to save space, if the characters are ASCII character means simple characters, the characters which are available on keyboard, then we should use an array of bytes instead of array of characters. So if you use array of bytes, you will be saving almost half the space. Why? Because ASCII character occupies 1 byte of memory per character, whereas otherwise normally Java occupies Unicode character and that occupies 2 bytes of memory per character. So if you are sure that the data file which you are creating or the array which you are creating will contain only simple characters which can be typed from keyboard, then you should take it as bytes array rather than taking it as character array, so that you will save space. Literals are stored in memory, that is constants. When 2 string objects are created using same string literal, that is same string constant, they refer to the same memory location. Separate memory is allocated when string literals are created using new operator. Remember, new operator is a very important word. We discussed this in chapter 8 also, that object is only created when we use new keyword. So even if you create a string object of string class, if you use new operator, then only the object is created and it has been given a unique space in memory. Let us see here. The last 2 points which we read here are explained here. Here, string str1 and str2 are created without new keyword, as you can see here. String str1 is equal to I like Java. String str2 is equal to I like Java. Then they are not given separate memory location. They refer both str1 and str2. They both refer to same memory location. But here, str3 and str4 are created using new keyword, so they occupy separate memory. As shown here, string str3 is equal to new string I love India, and string str4 is equal to new string str3. Both the statement new command is used. So even though strings are same, I love India, they occupy separate memory location. So remember, these 2 points wants to explain that if you create any object, not only string object, any object using new operator, then only that object is provided unique memory location. So that is how we create string. Now let us see different 5 methods given in textbook to create string object. Textbook has given some 5 different methods for creating different string object. Let us see that. Some of the constructors of string class. So they are constructors of string class. Again, let me take you back to chapter 8 and let us revise what are constructors. I hope some of you would be remembering it. What are constructors? If you have forgotten it, I will request you to again go through chapter 8 videos and please learn that topic and remember, because constructor topic is very important for knowledge point of view as well as for board exam point of view. Let me revise it. Constructors are methods only, but they are the methods which has name same as name of the class. So string class and the method name is also string. Ditto in capital and small. Second difference was constructor method does not have any return type written before it. Till now we have seen many methods. Suppose if I take you to any program, suppose this program, then here this is a method, display is a method. So you can see that static void is written before it. Here main is a method, so you can see public static void is written. So every method in Java program will have its return type written before the name of the method. But constructor methods are such methods where there is no return type. So nothing is written before it. Directly the name of the constructor and the name would be same as the name of the class in which they are defined. So string class, and in that string class there are this different string method that is called constructors. So first constructor of string class is string without any argument. It creates an object with no characters. We will see this with the examples also. String, second is string character array. You write a name of character array. So a string object is created with initial value using array argument. Whatever is the argument of this array, whatever is the value stored in this character array, all those characters will be considered as string object. Third, string character array, integer start, integer length. Now this is something very interesting. You create a string object from an existing character array by specifying its start position and then specifying total number of characters, that is the length of the string you want to take from. So it is used to take out certain characters from one word. For example, the word is argument, and if I want to take UME from this word, then I can use this constructor method where I specify the name of the array, I specify the start index number, that would be UME. So start index number would be 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 would be this, and length also 3 UME. So it would be like that. We will see example very soon. Fourth method to create string object is just by specifying another object, string object name. So it will create a ditto duplicate string object. Fifth method, we directly write a string literal, that is, we write string itself within the bracket within inverted comma. So these are the 5 ways to create string object using these 5 constructors. Let us see examples. So this example which is given in the textbook, I have just highlighted this third example because that third example requires little more attention. So here class string 1, then public main method, then there is an array, character array created with the name, and there are 4 characters stored in that name, JAVA. Now if I give the command string str1 is equal to new string and blank, nothing in the bracket, it will create a blank string object. So these 5 statements are for printing it, these 5 statements are creating string object, and these 5 statements are printing, and here you can see the output. So we'll see all these 3 things together. So concentrate on this first statement, compare with this first, and then see the result here. So first printing statement is system.out.println, that is println str1 is str1. So as you can see, output str1 is blank because there is nothing stored in str1, it is kept blank. I hope you know that things which are written within inverted comma will be printed as it is here in the output. Things which are written without inverted comma, Java will print value stored in that variable or in that object. So str1 contains nothing, so there is nothing printed. Plus sign is called concatenate operator, which joins 2 different things. This is string and this is a string object. So 2 different things, they connect with plus sign. Second line, string str2 is equal to new string and name. What is name? Name is the name of the character array. So Java. So print statement now, system.out.println str2 is str2. So output, if you compare, str2 is Java because here we have said name. Third example, we are creating string object using string str3 is equal to new string name, that is name of the array, 1, that is the start position, 2, that is the length. So name is this array, start position 1, that is A, again why A? Because start position of J is 0, array index number begins with 0, so 1 is here A, and then 2, that is the length. So from starting from A, total 2 characters A and V. So it will print system.out.println str3 is str3, so str3 is AV. It will print 2 characters. Remember, we will see in detail these examples with different values because this is a bit confusing example. But remember one thing, output will contain these many characters. Whatever number is written here, these many characters will be in the output AV, 2 characters. Fourth example or fourth way to create string object, string str4 is equal to new string str3. You are specifying object as parameter, passing object as parameters, chapter 8. So passing object as parameter, you are writing another object name. You are creating str4, that is a new object, and as an argument you are passing an existing object as parameter. So str4 would be same as str3, that is AV. And the last one, string str5 is equal to new string in Java, as I shown here, string literal. You specify the string literal written within double inverted comma. Textbook could have given some other name here other than Java, so that students will understand that every time it will not work with Java only. You can write anything here. You may say string str5 is equal to new string how are you. So it will create str5 object with value or with a string how are you. As you print it, it prints here str5 is Java. And I hope you know this exit code 0. That means program compiled successfully. So let us see the examples. This is what a new example, same thing but with a new example. Here I have created the same name array but with different value. Rather than Java, I had created it with 10 characters, which makes word Mahabharat. Now if I say string s1 is equal to new string without anything, it will create blank string. If I say string s2 is equal to new string name, it will be creating the string with whatever is the value written in the name array. So it is s2 would be Mahabharat. When you say string s3 is equal to new string name, 3, 5. Now it will say 3 means start position. So 3 means 0, 1, 2 and 3. This A is 3. Third index number 3. So value 4th. From there we take 5 characters. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So it would be S4 would be Abhar. ABHAR. As I said when we are discussing this, that output would be same length as number you specify here. So here it is 5. So total number of characters you get is 5. But you need to mention it within this limit. If you write name, 3, 11, and there are no 11 characters in this, so then it will give you error. But when you say name, 3, 5, 3 means 4th character. From 4th character, total 5 characters starting from 4th characters. Okay. String s4 is equal to new string s3, which would be same as s3, so Abhar only. String s5 is equal to new string Nayan, so string will become Nayan. And once again, one more example for this type of constructor. String s6 is equal to new string name, 6, 3. When it is 6, it is 7th character, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. Or you can say 0th index number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. From 6th character, 3 characters. So 1, 2 and 3, Ara, A-R-A, Ara. So the string 6 S6 would become ARA. I hope you understood this, how different string objects are created using different constructors of string class. There are 5 different methods given in the textbook and we discussed that. The third method required little detailed explanation, so one more example of that third method. Different string class methods. There are few methods for comparison of the string and then still there are another few methods. Total 11 methods are given in the textbook for string class. The very first one is boolean equals string str. Now boolean is the return type of the method. That means when we execute this equals method, the output will be of type boolean. So this is output type. So output would be either true or false. This will return true if the invoking string, that is the string which we specify here, is same as str. So the string which we are using with equals method with and the string which we are specifying here, if both the strings are same, it will return true. If they are different in capital and small also, it will return false. Second method is boolean equals ignore case string str. Here it returns true if invoking string is same as str, but it will ignore case, so it is not case sensitive. So this method ignores case. So if one string is having written Rajkot in capital letter and in other string if Rajkot is written in small letter, boolean equals ignore case will return true and boolean equals will return false, because here it even takes in consideration the capital and small letter difference, whereas this method ignores the case. Third method is also for comparing two string. Here it says integer compare to string str. Now this will return the answer of type integer. The first two method answer type is, or the return type is boolean. So first and second method, whenever it is used, the answer would be either true or false. But third and fourth method, the return type, the method return type is integer, so answer would be some number. This method, compare to method, will return either 0 or some positive number or some negative number depending on both the strings which we are comparing. If invoking string is equal to the or greater or less than string str, then it will return 0, greater than 0 or less than 0 value respectively. So if both the string which we are comparing are same, ditto same in capital and small, it will return 0. If they are different, then whichever character differs from each other, it will return accordingly their difference. It depends which string you are comparing with which string. Just by this we cannot say that answer would be negative or positive. It is only when we see actual example we can make out that answer would be negative or positive. But very soon we will see all these methods with some examples. Next, integer compared to ignore case string str. So now here again, like second method, we are comparing two string but you are ignoring the case. So if one string is capital Rajkot and second string is small Rajkot, compared to ignore case method will return 0 because it is ignoring the case. It is only when characters are different in both the string, then it will return the number either greater than 0 or less than 0 depending on which string you are comparing with which one. So these are the four methods which are used for string comparison. First two method is answering or giving the answer in true or false because this says the return type. And third and fourth method returns answer in some number. Let us see some example. If S1, that's a string 1, if S1 is equal to Nayan, that is in capital letter, and S2 is equal to Nayan in small letter, and S3 is equal to again Nayan in capital letter, then boolean equals the first method. If I write S1 dot equals S2, so now here we are comparing S1 with S2. S1 is capital Nayan, S2 is small letter Nayan. This will return false, and if I write S1 equals S3, it will return true because S1 is capital Nayan and S3 is also capital Nayan. So it will return true. So I hope you understand that when both the string which you are comparing are exactly same S1 and S3, it will return true. But if there is some difference, even though it is difference of capital and small, it will return false. Second method, boolean equals ignore case. If I say S1 equals ignore case S2, where S1 is capital Nayan and S2 is small letter Nayan, but still it will return true because we are ignoring the case. One more thing I would like to draw your attention is, observe how method names are written. Every letter of each word is capital except first word, equals, ignore, case. So equals is written in small, ignore case I is capital, case C is capital. So observe this, these methods which are not created by us, it is developed by or created by the one who has created Java language, and it is available in Java development kit. But you need to observe that method names are written in which fashion. Third example, integer compare to s1 dot compare to s2 will return minus 32. Now here comes the trick. Why it returns minus 32? Because s1 is capital N and s2 is small n. The difference between ASCII number of capital N and small n, or the number which represents the capital character N and small character n, is of 32. So it returns minus 32. But if I say s1 dot compare to s3, it will return 0 because both the strings are same. So it will return 0. One more thing. If you write s2 compare to s1, suppose you flip these strings, rather than writing s1 compare to s2, if you write s2 compare to s1, you will get the answer plus 32. Remember one important point, that number for capital A is 65 and number for small a is 97. So difference between two same capital and small letter is of 32. Fourth method, integer compare to ignore case. Now if I write s1 compare to ignore case s2, it will return 0, because now here we are avoiding capital and small letter and we are ignoring them, so it is 0. So even if you write s1 compare to ignore case s3, also 0, s1 compare to ignore case s2 is also 0, because whether you compare capital Nayan string with small Nayan string or capital Nayan string using compare to ignore case, it will always return 0. So these are the first 4 methods for string comparison. Moving over to another methods, integer length. It returns the number of characters in invoking string. So the string which we are using with this method, length method, it will return the number of characters. Now remember here, we also discussed length with array also, but with array length was a property, it was an attribute, whereas with string length is a method, and that is why here length is followed by bracket, whereas when we used length with array, it was not followed by bracket, because with array length is a attribute, whereas with string length is a method. Second method, character at. Here there is some mistake in the textbook. Textbook has written index at. There is no method like index at in Java. So character at. Integer index. You specify index number, and at that particular index number, which character is there in the string, it will return that. So it returns character at specified index position. Third method, byte array, that is the return type. So when you execute this method, that is get bytes method, output would be of an array. So byte array get bytes. This will return an array. Observe this. It will return an array of characters as bytes. So it converts a character array into byte array. Fourth method, which is very interesting, and that is void get characters. First thing you observe that the output type is void, means this method is not returning anything. It is void. Whatever happens inside, but doesn't come anything on screen. So void get characters. There are 4 arguments. First argument is integer from index, second argument is integer toIndex, third argument is character target array, this is target array, and fourth argument is integer target index. What this method is doing, it copies specified characters. It copies specified characters of invoking string from index to toIndex -1 into the target array from target index onwards. So from one string, it will extract certain characters which you specify using from index and toIndex, and then it will copy those characters into a new array, that is target array, and in the target array also it will copy it into the specific particular location. So that is, get characters is used to take out certain characters from one array, string array, and to copy it into the another string. Let us see examples. If S1 is equal to Mahabharat, that is string 1 S1 is equal to Mahabharat, and string S2 is equal to blank, then integer length, here the I should be small, this I should be small, but it is fine. Integer length, S1 dot length, it will give you 10. Why? Because the length of S1 is containing 10 characters. If you count, it is total 10 characters. And if you say S2 dot length, it will give you 0. So that is how you can find out the total number of characters in a string using length method. Second method, character at integer index. S1 dot character at 4. So this is the index position number 4. Position number 4 means 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, that is B. So S1 dot character at 4 gives B. If you say S1 character at 9 will give you T, because T is the 10th character. 10th character, 9 is the index number, and you again, let me remind, index number begins from 0. So for this string Mahabharat, which is in character array, so here M is at position, index position 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So T is at position 10th position and index number 9. Its index number is 9, its position is 10. If you write S1 dot character at 10, it will generate error. It will give you error because index number 10 is not there. The string length is 10, so index number is from 0 to 9. So there is no index position as 10, and it will give, or it will generate an error. It will throw an error. That error can be like array index out of bound exception. We'll discuss about this in next chapter. But remember, what you specify here is index number. So if you specify 4, you are supposed to get 5th character. If you specify n, you will get n plus 1 character. Third method, byte array get bytes. If str string is equal to abcd, then if you write byte output, this is output array. Name of a array, that is output array, is equal to string get bytes, will create an array named output with elements 97, 98, 99 and 100. Why? Because the number for small a is 97. If you remember, just in previous slide when we were discussing compare to method, I told you that number for small a is 97 and number for capital A is 65. So it will return output array, or it will create output array with 4 elements which represents the number of ABCD, that is 97, 98, 99 and 100. So array will be like this: byte output array is equal to curly bracket 97, 98, 99 and 100. Simply it converts character array into byte array. The last example, that is fourth method, suppose string S1 is equal to new string Nayan Shah, and if I create a character array, that is character ch is the name of the array, is equal to new character 15. So I'm creating a character array with size 15. Now what I want to do is, I want to copy Nayan Shah, that is except first and last character. All other characters I want to copy from this string, S1 string, and I want to paste it into this ch. So how to do that? S1 dot get characters start index. Start index is 1, that is small a. This capital N is at position 0. Then 9. This 9 is actually target index -1. Here it is target index or to index, from index, to index, but whatever you specify to index, it will take one character less. If you remember again the method which we discussed with the array class, that is fill method and sort method, in that also, if you remember, we did like this because it is created like this in Java by Java developer. So 9 means 9 minus 1, and that is 8. That is 8th index number. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, blank space, that is 5, 6, 7 and 8 up to this. So up to small a of Shah will be copied into the array ch, array name ch, and in array name ch it will start copying it from index position 2, that is 0, 1 and 2. So this S1 dot get characters 1, 9, ch, 2 will copy all the characters of string S1 from index position 1 to 9 minus 1 in the character array ch from index position 2. So we can visualize the character array ch as below. Because the size of character array ch is 15, so if you count, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. So total 15 size. The size of array is 15. In that we are pasting these extracted characters, that is Nayan Shah, from position number, index number 2. So that is third position. Index number 2, that is position 3, 0, 1 and 2. So this is how it does internally. So nothing comes on screen, and that is why the return type is void. I hope these methods are clear to you. These 3 methods are very important to understand. This even the 4th method. Let us move over to next methods. String concate string str. It returns a string after appending str with the invoking string. In simple word, concate method is used to join 2 strings. When you want to join 2 strings together, you use concate method. 6th method, string to lowercase. It converts the invoking string into small letter. The entire string will be converted into small letter if there are capital letters. And last method, that is 7th method, it says string to uppercase, opposite to lowercase method. It converts the entire string into capital letter. But you need to note one more thing, which I already said here once, but once again let us see that with array variable, length is an attribute of array, whereas with string object, length is a method, and that is why we should use bracket after length. Let us see the example of this last 3 methods. If S1, string S1 is equal to Maha, and S2, string S2 is equal to Bharat, then string concate S1 is equal to S1 dot concate S2. So S1 will be replaced by old value of S1 connected with S2. So if you print it, that system.out.println S1, now it will give you Mahabharat, because S1 is joined with S2. If you write other way around, S2 dot concate S1, you will get Bharat Maha. So you should know that how strings are getting connected to each other. Here we say that with S1 string we concate S2. Next method, string to lowercase. If string S low, matlab string S low is equal to S1 dot to lowercase. So now I am creating a new string with the name S underscore low, and then I am storing in that S1 dot to lowercase. So S1 will be converted into small letter, and then that finally it will be stored in the variable S low. And when you print it, system.out.println S underscore low, it will give Maha with small m. All the characters are small, but already other characters are small letter only. So capital M will be converted to small m. Similarly, if you use string to uppercase, like string S underscore up is equal to S2 dot to uppercase, and then if you print it at system.out.println S underscore up, it will give you Bharat in full capital letter, because to uppercase. So this Bharat, whichever characters are small, in fact all the characters are in small letter, but doesn't matter if there are few capital and few small, ultimately output will contain all the characters converted into small letter. Suppose your string contains some special character like asterisk or question mark, they will not have any effect of to upper and to lower. To uppercase and to lowercase will affect only alphabets A to Z. Rest will have no effect. It is only converting alphabet. Rest character, other characters, if you left in between your string, if you written some other characters, special characters in between, they will remain as it is. So these 11 methods, total 11 methods of string class are very interesting, very useful. Now let us discuss the next and the last topic of chapter 9, and that is date class and calendar class. Date class encapsulates both date as well as time, and it represents the value using milliseconds. The very first sentence is very important to understand. The date class is used for working with dates and time, but remember that date and time in Java is stored using milliseconds. So 1 second, you know that 1 second is equal to 1000 milliseconds. The Javadood Utility package, that is Javadood package, contains date class. Observe that first two are actually constructors of date class. So when we see these methods of date class, it is given in textbook under common heading, and that is methods of date class. But if you observe, if you remember chapter 8, the first two are not method, they are actually the constructors of date class, because constructor begins with capital letter, it has same name as the name of the class in which they are defined. So the first one, date, it constructs date object using current system date and time. So whatever is your system date and time, from that it will create a date object. Second is again date constructor with long elapsed time in bracket. So this will construct a date object using specified time in milliseconds. So you specify in bracket, we specify time, that is date and time together in milliseconds, and then it will construct date object based on that milliseconds. But from where that milliseconds start counting? So it gets start counting from 1st January 1970. So 31st December 1969 midnight 12 o'clock, from there it will start counting. So as past 12 o'clock 1 second, it is 1000, 2 seconds and 2000, and so on. It will start counting milliseconds right from the very first second of 1st January 1970. So naturally the value to get present date and time would be very long value, and that is why the data type kept is long. We will see this with examples also. Third method, that is a method only. First two are constructors, now it is method. String to string, this is output type. String is the output type and to string is the name of the method. This will convert date into string. Now you might be wondering what is converting date into string means. Date into string means it will remain in look. If you look at that, if you print it on screen, it will be like date only. But when we convert the date into string, then it will become constant date which will not change, or a date in which we cannot do any kind of mathematical operations. Otherwise, as you know, that date and time is stored as milliseconds, so it's a number. So you can do some kind of addition, subtraction with that number to get different date and time. But if you want to make that date, particular date, a constant, then you can use the method toString. Fourth method is long get time. This will return number of milliseconds since January 1st, 1970. This is opposite to the second constructor. Here we specify date and time and it will return us the number of milliseconds. So that is long get time. And fifth is void set time, in bracket long elapsed time. So here in bracket we specify long elapsed time, that is the time in milliseconds, and it will set the computer date with that milliseconds. So whatever that milliseconds represent, whichever date and time it represents, it will show that, or it will store that as the system date. Again, if you remember chapters 8, get time and set time. Get time and set time are getter and setter method of time. Time method is defined in date class, but to use it we use accessor method, that is get time, and we use mutator method, that is set time. So getter and setter method, or accessor and mutator method. Let us see the examples of date class constructors first. So first, date Tariq. If I take variable name as Tariq and I declare that variable as type date is equal to new date, means I have created a Tariq object which is of type date. It is same as if you remember in chapter 7 or 8 we have seen one program where we said room R1 is equal to new room. So we are creating R1 object of type room. Similarly here it is date Tariq is equal to new date, so we are creating Tariq object of type date, and then we print it. It is without any argument. So system.out.println Tariq. This will print current date and time of the system. So whatever is the system date and time will be printed. Second constructor we use, there we say we take one variable of type long, and the name of the variable we say milli. It can be anything, but because we are storing some milliseconds in this, so we say long milli is equal to, we are storing this much big value, 1633949094284, and then L. This L indicates this is a long value. So this L is must. So you store this number into milli, which is milliseconds, and then you create an object date Tariq is equal to new date with milli into bracket. Here it was blank, so it took system date and time, current date and time of computer. Here you specify the date and time in milliseconds, and it will create Tariq object based on the value you specify as milli, and then you print it. It will print Monday, October 11, 16/14/54 IST 2021. That is Monday, 11th October 2021 and afternoon 4 o'clock 14 minutes 54 seconds. That is what this number indicates. If you increase this value again with some higher number, you may get new dates, that is of October, later in October and November and so on. You need to keep on increasing this value. But remember, whenever you want to store such long value, you need to append it with L. So these are the two constructors of date class. First constructor is without any argument, so it creates current date and time of system. And second, we give some number in that, and based on this number, it will create date and time. This number, it will start considering from 1st January 1970, or rather midnight 12 o'clock of 31st December 1969. So remember, from there it will start, each second will be considered as 1000 milliseconds. So when from 1st January 1970, if you want to come up to 2021 October, the value of milliseconds is this much big. Even textbook also shows you some example, you can see in textbook also. Because textbook is written some 7-8 years ago, so you will see the date which textbook is printing is of somewhat around 2016 or 15 or something. And you can compare this number with that number in textbook. It would be smaller than this number. Then other methods of date class. Again we take date, tarikh is equal to new date, and then we print. So this current number of milliseconds since January 1, 1970 is tarikh.getTime. This get method and set method. So get time. This prints current number of milliseconds since January 1, 1970, 000000 is this many milliseconds. So here what we are doing is, we are taking the current date and time, and then that current date and time we are applying to tarikh, and in tarikh we are getting the time and we are printing it. So it prints the milliseconds of present, or rather when this program was get executed, at that time the milliseconds was this much, which started counting from 1st January 1970 midnight, early morning 0 o'clock. Second constructor, that date D is equal to new date, long millisecond is equal to this number. I have taken this same number here so that vice versa you can understand, and capital L, that is indicating this is a long value. Now D dot set time, and into bracket this milliseconds, and then you print time after settings is this. So this will print time after settings would be Monday, October 11, 1624, 37 IST 2021. So this is how we use the get time method, and this is how we use set time method. So get time and set time, they are accessor and mutator method, or you can call it getter and setter method. If you have forgotten this getter and setter method, I would request you to go back to chapter 8 to this topic and just have a look around what is get method and set method. Moving over to calendar class. Calendar class is useful to extract detailed calendar informations like year, month, date, hour, etc. So everything related to calendar. Again, calendar class is available in Javadood Utility package, and it also contains date class and calendar class. We will see the use of Gregorian calendar. Now, within calendar class, there are many other subclasses. One of them is Gregorian calendar, which is a subclass of calendar class. And here in textbook, they have shown you the details about Gregorian calendar. Some integer constant means all these are representing some number. So some integer constants defined in calendar class are because they all are constant, so they are written in capital letter. First constant is year, that gives you the year of calendar, which year the calendar is referring to. Month gives you the month of calendar, but their month of calendar, 0 is for January and 11 is for December. Now what kind of question board can ask in this is, they might give you a date. They might ask a question like, if today's date is 23rd March 2022, then what will be the value of month constant? So it would be 2, because March is month number 2. 0 is for January, 1 is for February, and 2 is for March. Then date, that it gives you day of calendar month, which day of the calendar month it is. Day of month, same as date, it again gives you day of calendar month. Actually it gives you date. Suppose if I say 16th January 2022, then 16 is the answer for date or day of month. Hour, it gives hour in 12-hour notation. So if you are using constant hour, and if the time is 4 o'clock afternoon, it will give you 4 only. Answer is 4 only, because it uses 12-hour notation. So 1 to 12, again 1 to 12. But hour of day, the other constant, that is hour of day. Remember that all these words are separated by underscore. So hour of day uses hour in 24-hour notation. So again question can be asked is, if the clock shows time 3 p.m., then what will be the value of hour of day? So if clock shows 3 p.m., value of hour of day constant would be 15, because hour of day uses 24-hour notation, but hour would be 3. Hour would be 3 and hour of day would be 15. Minute gives you minutes, second gives you seconds. Very simple it is, like hour, minutes and second. AM underscore PM, it gives you whether right now it is AM or it is PM based on the clock. 0 indicates it is AM and 1 indicates it's a PM. So that is AM, PM. 10th constant is day of week. Day of week is giving you the day number within a week. Again here there is a twist, that 1 is for Sunday. 1 is for Sunday and 7 is for Saturday. So again board can ask a question that if calendar shows today as Wednesday, then what will be the value of constant day of week? So if it is Wednesday, the day of week is considered as 4, because Sunday is 1, Monday is 2, Tuesday is 3, and so Wednesday is 4. Week of month, it gives week number within the month. If I say the date, today's date is 9th February 2022, then what is the number of week? So it will give you 2, because that is the second week of the month. So week of the month gives you the week number within the month. And then next is week of year, which gives you week number within the year. If I say today's date is 2nd February 2022, then what will be the value of week of year? So week of year 6, because 7 days a week and 31 days of January. So 7 4s are 28, then 29, 30, 31 and 1st and 2nd. So it would be 5th week of year. Then the last is day of year. It gives you day number in the year, 1 for the first day. So if I say today's date is 10th February 2022, what will be the value of day of year? The value of day of year would be 41, because 31 days of January and then plus 10 days of February. So if today's date is 10th February, the day of year would be 41. So Let us see some examples of this, and then we conclude with chapter 9. Very interesting chapter. Many different methods and many interesting constants are explained here. Even some constructors are also there. Just go through all these methods and constructors once, whenever you are free. Just revise this, practice this. All these methods are very interesting. Some examples are given in textbook, some examples are given here in these slides, and you can practice. Thank you for watching, and next we will begin with chapter 10. Very interesting, very small chapter, but very interesting chapter. That is chapter 10. Thank you. Keep watching. Take care and stay safe.